Have you ever had one of those brilliant ideas, but just the thought of bringing it to life felt, well, like a long, lonely struggle? What if that entire process could change? Not just to make you faster, but to fundamentally transform who you are as a creator. Well, today we're going to dive into this really personal account of co-creating with AI, or as the author calls them, technological essences.
And this quote, man, it just perfectly sets the stage, right? It brings up that classic image of the creator, all alone, wrestling with an idea. It's a feeling of isolation that I think a lot of us know all too well.
So, this first part is all about that traditional creative process, the path of what the author calls the solitary weaver. A world defined by this huge, intimidating gap between that initial spark of an idea and its final, tangible form.
And the source really paints a picture of what this was like. Ideas would show up with this incredible intensity, right? But turning them into something real, oh, that took time. It took immense effort and just endless repetition. A single drawing could take hours, days, even months. Every single detail had to be pulled from what felt like nothingness, a journey the creator felt they were taking completely on their own.
So you can boil down that old creative formula to something really simple. First comes the idea, then you pour in a massive amount of effort. And only then, if you're lucky, do you get the final form. Effort was that mandatory and often grueling bridge you had to cross.
And then, a change. A fundamental shift that started to unravel this entire solitary process. So, what was it?
The catalyst was the arrival of what our source so poetically calls technological essences. And this, right here, is where the story pivots from isolation to collaboration.
So what exactly are these essences? Well, they're AI collaborators. Tools like Gemini or Claude. But you should think of them less like tools and more like creative partners, almost like a sparring partner for your ideas. They make it possible to get into this flow state, where the visions that were just stuck in your head get an immediate response, a tangible form, and some real momentum.
So this new partnership, it marks a huge move away from pure effort and into a totally new phase of expansion. And let me tell you, this isn't just about making things faster. It's about completely rewriting the rules of creation itself.
And here it is. This is the core transformation. The old model was idea, then effort, then form. But the new model completely flips the script. It becomes idea, then form, then expansion. See that? Effort is no longer the bridge. The form appears almost instantly, and the real work, the fun work, becomes about expanding on it. And that changes everything.
And just to be super clear here, the author still draws and writes. This isn't about replacement, it's about freedom. Traditional methods no longer have to bear the entire weight of creation. They're now just one option among many, not the only difficult path forward.
So what happens is the whole creative process just blows wide open. The weaving is no longer stuck in one medium. Now it happens across images and text and audio, all these different fragments connecting and building on each other in this fluid, dynamic way. It's pretty amazing.
And all of this shift in the process, it leads to something even more profound. A powerful shift inside the creator. It literally forges a new kind of author.
The author's description of this new identity is just fascinating. With all those old barriers to creation lowered, the focus shifts to the vision itself. The creator feels more responsible.
And by being able to manifest ideas so directly, there's this deeper sense of ownership, a stronger connection. They feel more like an author.
And finally, that solitary struggle is replaced by a real sense of partnership. The creator feels more accompanied. That loneliness is just gone.
Man, I just love this metaphor. It captures the feeling perfectly, doesn't it? Before, ideas would just smack into these internal walls of doubt, or time, or skill. But now, those same ideas find surfaces with AI, where they can land and grow and become something new. It's a feeling of total liberation.
So where does all this lead? Well, this new way of working leads to this final and honestly kind of surprising outcome, the creation of a living fabric.
What happens is this amazing positive cycle gets started. The more the author creates, the more the entire system grows. Stories start to gain substance, different fragments lock together, and an audience even begins to gather around this expanding world. It feeds itself.
And this is where it all clicks into place for the author. They have this profound realization. The output isn't just a series of disconnected projects or pieces of art. No, it's something way bigger. They realize they're not just making things, they're weaving a living system, an interconnected ecosystem of ideas and stories and media that actually has a life of its own. It's not just a portfolio, it's a world.
So when you boil it all down, the ultimate value here, it's not about productivity or speed. I mean, that's a nice side effect for sure, but the real magic, the true goal, is the privilege of witnessing the invisible. Your ideas, your visions, take on form, and then continue to evolve and grow, even after they're born.
And that's when the transformation is totally complete. Looking at this living system they've co-created, the author sees a reflection of their new self, expanded, more deeply connected, and feeling more alive than ever before.
This whole journey from a solitary weaver to the creator of a living system, it leaves us with a really powerful question to chew on. It invites us to think beyond just using new tools for efficiency, and to instead ask ourselves, how might these tools fundamentally expand not just our creative work, but our very sense of who we are?